Oh, hi. My name is Terisa Taylor. I'm an artist with Artbeat Studio. And I'm going to today demonstrate a little bit of how to make shadow using colors. In this case, in this instance, I'll use complementary colors to make shadows. So, so I'm going to take yellow, blue, and red, the three primary colors, and make a shadow. So well, I'm going to pretend like this acrylic paint is watercolor. So I'm going to start with the yellow. I'll wet the circle so that basically that keeps the paint inside the circle. And I've made this little mark. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just going to have no paint on it. So in order to have shadow, you have to have highlights. Shadow and highlights are what gives things their form. So I'll paint this yellow, and I'm going to try to get the darkest paint on the shadow because it thins out as you go. So I'm going to try to get the darkest paint on the shadow side. And it should thin out as I go up. And I'm trying to make it round. So I'll leave that like as if it's a highlight. It doesn't help with the, I should have not maybe put that pencil mark in there. So I don't want to get too much paint on this part because I want it to be lighter and darker at the bottom. There, already it looks a little bit like a shadow. So now, I had to remember. So the complement of yellow is purple. So I'm going to, this is purple, or violet, I don't know. I never know what to call it. But I'm going to mix out a little violet color. And then, can't see. Then I'll start, because it's going to be darker at first. And this is where it has to be right opposite your highlight. And see how it, actually I think I'm going to mix it here a bit. It's not mixing. Although it was okay, I think. And then basically try to blend it, which I really suck at. So I just try to blend it out. The closer I get to the top, just make it kind of fade out. Whoops, that's... Sometimes you almost need a dry brush to blend. So here I'm just dry brushing, really. Anyway, as I said, I'm terrible at blending. I probably did a better job here, and if you're doing a painting, you'd probably want to maybe learn from somebody else how to do blending better. But anyway, so that's, oh, and I can go ahead and actually put really dark all around just the edge. There, so anyway, that's basically what you would do. You just get your darker colors and then blend, 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 make it lighter, lighter, lighter. Afterwards, that's on a round, you can make something look round that way. If you're doing a square or a rectangle, it would be different, which I will show you in a few, after I demonstrated this. So I'm gonna go to the blue. Make sure I have no color left in my brush. So I'm gonna wet it again. And then I'm going to paint it blue. Again, I'll start with the darker side first while the paint is built up on my brush. And then I'm going to see here, it's more acting more like watercolor because I put more water on, which seems to be so far working out better. So I just want to get it lighter and lighter and lighter as I go up. To take my mask off, I'm too hot. So now the complement of blue is orange. So I'm going to mix up some blue and orange here. I don't know if you can see. And then we'll start making the highlight or the shadow. And again, I'm going to try to blend it. Try is the operative word here. thing about blending, it's kind of, your brush has to be a certain, how do I say, it can't be too wet and it should be on the dry side, just so enough that actually I think I have too much of the dark shadow in there now. It should be more like this, but I think you get the picture. I could go back and put some light blue in. Maybe I'll try that. Can't do any harm. I will. With me, painting is a lot of trial and error. See what happens here. Oh, no, that's mixing, but anyway, I think you get the picture. I don't think that turned out all that well, but luckily I have this one. So now I'm going to do the final one for this. Wet it again. I think you can tell that my blending skills are less than perfect with acrylic. If this was oils, it'd be a different story. I worked with oils for a long time, and they're much more forgiving because they don't dry nearly as quickly. So I'm gonna paint it again. You getting the darkest part on the shadow side. I'm just trying to leave a bit of a white spot there, as if the sun was really shining, or a light was really shining on it, on the top of it. I don't want to put more paint on my brush because I don't want to make it dark here. I just want to make it light. And according to some of the I've seen about watercolor, you can actually lift if it's still wet, you can lift some of it off. To make a highlight. There, not too bad. I'm going to put some more red in there, like the deepest red that I can at the bottom. I don't think it could get much deeper than it is. Now, because the complement of red is green, I'm going to put some green in there to make a shadow color. So I'm going to just mix it up, make a green color. I don't know if you can see this. So now I'm just going to take some of that green over here and mix it with my red. And basically it's just a little bit deeper red. Well, quite a bit deeper red, but it's still red. And then we'll just do the darkest part here again. Try to make it exactly opposite your highlight. And then again, you basically try to just blend it up. This one I won't blend up as high as I did with this one. That was too high. There, and now I'm going to just take a really dark bit of this green and red mixture. Basically, it's almost black. Sometimes your shadows will almost look black at the darkest part of them. That's not working, it's taking it off instead of putting it on. Just trying to make it a little bit darker, just a little further up, but not too far. Get a clean brush. Yeah, so anyway, that's basically how you would do it, and I would advise you to brush up on some blending techniques that I don't have yet. I'm working on it. Anyway, now I have this very rough drawing of a red barn that I want to demonstrate how would you put this into an actual painting. So in this demonstration, it's gonna be a red barn with the light shining kind of from this direction. I think I want to turn this over. So basically, I'll just quickly paint this red barn. I painted the roof already. And I made a shadow, but I used a different technique just by making a darker value of the blue that I have on, darker and lighter values of the same blue color. Now I'm going to paint right over where the doors are supposed to be, and I'm going to go in the direction that the boards would probably go in. Probably go horizontally. So there, the front part of the red barn with the sun shining on from about this direction. So that would put this side of the barn in shadow. So I'm just going to mix up that red and green. And maybe we wouldn't want it too dark of a green, like of a shadow. Just a little bit darker. And we're just gonna see how dark this is. So this is a little bit darker. Because I'm going to want different values, because some places I want the shadows to be darker and some places not so dark. Oops. So that basically looks, you know, like the side of the barn that the sun is not shining. However, there are different shadows on this barn. And I want to make a very dark shadow color, so I'm going to put lots of green in this red. I'm going to make it hopefully almost black. So let's see how this works. So that if the sun is shining from here, that would make a shadow, because there's a board sticking out here, which I will paint white after. It's a white trim on this barn. So this is going to be a white board trim, and it's going to create a little shadow. So there would be a very dark shadow right about there. And the trim sticks out a little bit, and I didn't do that very well. Sticks out a little bit right about there.
There might be a couple gift cards kicking around.
Should have used a small brush.
Some of the artists and they chose to sell them here. We don't have any like actual gift cards. They would just be cards made by artists.
And there would be, right here, there's a part that really sticks out. Like the barn goes, the roof of the barn goes down here and down here. So there would be, and there's white trim here. But under that would be very dark, another very dark shadow. Sticks out a bit. And I think there would be a shadow, well, maybe not. Right there. So I think that's about it with the shadows. But very quickly, I am going to put that trim on, and then I want to show you something else about shadows, and that'll be it. So I'm going to just very quickly put the white, and give it, I'm going to give it a doors. Well, I guess I'll just do that with white. I could make it dark as if they're open, but so I'm going to give it, you know, and even with the white, this could be for a different time. Most of the time white reflects whatever is around it, so it might not be pure white. But for this demonstration, it's picking up that red anyway, so it's more pink, which I don't want. I would give it more than one coat. We'll paint the okay, afterwards I'm going to come back and put another layer of white paint, but in the meantime I want to show you something else. So if there's a shadow on this side of the barn, it stands to reason that the barn is going to be throwing a shadow on the grass. And the grass is green and the complement of green is red. So I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to make like a green, a lighter green maybe. I'm not even sure. I would have to experiment, but for now, I think just for this, I'm going to put a tiny bit of red in that green. trying to get, okay, so if the light's coming from here, your shadow will probably go this way.
Take it off.
And probably go off in this direction.
Okay, I'm here Wednesdays. See you around.
Just gotta try to mix it the exact color I think it might be. And I'm gonna try to make it a little bit darker. Right where, close to the barn. So right in the shadow of the barn, it's gonna be pretty dark.
Hello, hello, hello. How's it going?
And then it kind of just
Good.
goes.
Good to see ya. Yeah. Yeah, Bruce is doing her demo, and Teresa's also, we're recording a technique demo. Oh, good. Yeah. Good.
So anyway, it takes a bit of experimentation, but that's basically a shadow. And if you had like, I don't know. Oh, I don't want that one. If you had like,
Getting nice episode.
fence posts. Which would be, whoops, that's not very good. Receding. And there, for each one of them, you would have like, let's see if I can get this, a shadow. And if you had a tree, all the shadows would be on this side, and there would be shadows on, sorry, there would be shadows on this side of the post and the tree. So I think I'm gonna just make like, I think I'm gonna make maybe like a bit of a purple shadow on that white, those white posts. And then This is all very rough and not very realistic, but I'm gonna put a highlight on this side of the fence post.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm relatively new, I'm 30, so mine was just over a year ago.
And of course you would have,
One more that just finished, 31 just finished, I think.
well, let's say you'd have posts.
But they were interrupted by COVID though, so. Because they were able to.
Okay, so basically, so you would have the sun shining here, so it would be very bright. And it's shining about right there. And this one, you could probably put a little bit of purple on it to darken it. But, so yeah, so the sun's shining here,
Oh, I
and
think so.
here, and there. So yeah, so, you know, and obviously you would probably want to put some shadows where these oh yes, those fence posts need brighter, because the sun's shining on the top, kind of on the top of them.
A lot of their artwork, but I've got more.
So yeah, it's, when you want to make, like, let's say you want to make a really beautiful sunny day, it's all about, so much of it is about playing with, it's kind of fun too, I like that, playing with the shadow and the highlight.
I do leather work.
And even the very top of the post would have a highlight. There. Done.
Moving at the end of the week, so buy everything I can.
You're removing next week?
Yeah.
Basically, again, I'm Terisa Taylor. I'm an artist affiliated with Artbeat Studio, and yeah, it's been fun making this video, and I hope it helps. And yeah, so just play with it. Just have fun playing with light, and you can go online, you can get books about the color wheel and the different colors to use, and yeah, just have fun with your kit. Thanks.